Well, hello there guys, we're doing another mod here for Pike and Shot campaigns, and you guys really seem to like the Battle of Islandowana last time, so this time we're going to be playing the Battle of Ulundi, 1879. I really hope it's just as good as Islandowana, and I can't wait to jump in and take a look. So, as you can see here, it's actually the Boers that warned the British that the Zulu were going to be coming in a very large number. The British didn't exactly believe that this was going to be that big of a threat. But of course, we are playing as the Brits in this particular battle, and we've got to hopefully get a victory here. Lord Chelmsford, your first invasion of Zululand was a bloody fiasco. You now have the resources to conduct a proper offensive, but you have been superseded in command by General Wolseley, who is hurrying to take the front to take over your column. Your one chance of salvaging some shreds of your reputation is to finish the campaign by storming the Zulu royal kraal at Ulundi before he can arrive. In particular, you want to win a battle in the open field to demonstrate that it was not your own instructions to entrench in laager camps that led to the earlier disaster at Islandowana. You're advancing cautiously on a hollow square with scouts probing ahead and with native auxiliaries, non-combatants, and transport shielded behind solid rows of British regulars. It is certain that the remaining Zulu forces, maybe 16,000 warriors, are concealed in gullies, dongas, and behind hills. You urgently need your scouts' reports, and you will win by breaking Zulu morale through inflicting heavy casualties or by entering and burning Ulundi at the far end of the track. Either will do, but failure after 25 turns will allow Wolseley to take over, and you will to return to England in disgrace. So pretty interesting, guys. We have to go ahead and rethink or win our defeat at Islandowana, which you guys can actually watch. Hopefully, if I remember, I'll put a link down below. Make up for our defeat at Islandowana, I should say, and get a victory here at Ulundi. Let's hope we can do it, guys, and let's jump in. Alright guys, so after a major British defeat at Islandowana, it was time, of course, for the Brits to show that they could still beat the Zulu, and that they weren't going to fall prey to just regular average tribes. They basically underwent the same tragedy at the Indian Mutiny a few years back, where a bunch of Indian tribes absolutely crushed them. In this case, well, not just tribes, but Indian families, Indian armies. In this case, we're going to be moving forward here, and hopefully we're going to break our army in two. This might not be such a good idea. We've also got our Natal native contingent, and we're going to try to move up. I'm not sure if we can get up on these rocks, but I don't think we can because the height is way too high. Nonetheless, we are going to try and get a victory here. I want to make sure we were at the toughest difficulty level last time because of the last scenario we played. Lieutenant General, I think we can stick to Sergeant Major General and be fair enough, because this is actually quite a tough fight, and we're going to be going on the offensive when we really should be defending. But let's go ahead, move forward anyway, and hope for the absolute best here. I love the detail that has gone into these men, into their uniforms. Just absolutely awesome stuff. Really looks like a miniature board game setup with painted figures. And we're also probably going to have to get these cannons back, and actually these are Gatling guns. You know, the Gatling gun, it can do a tremendous amount of damage. The ox wagons aren't going to be very helpful. In fact, we'll probably keep them, for the most part, behind the men. We definitely need to bring our soldiers up to assist here. Let's go ahead and limber the Royal Artillery. We'll start moving it next turn. Don't forget, if you like these kind of videos, make sure to hit that like button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and maybe leave a comment. We do have some Lancers here as well. A few Lancers actually escaped from the Battle of Islandowana, so maybe these are those Lancers. I'm not sure, but we're going to keep on moving. And let's get this Royal Artillery limbered as well. We'll be moving it next turn, and we're turning it over to the enemy. Okay, so we are going to the Zulu homeland, essentially, guys, and we really need to either get here. Frontier Light Horse, Zulu chest, and loins crossing Imbalane in strength. Oh boy, so we already have a few Zulu warriors to worry about there in the front. We're going to move towards them, of course. And actually, it looks like, yes, we can cross this hill. So I think we should definitely get on the hills, get the upper ground, the high ground, even with the Dragoons, and try to get up there, prepare to fight. I think that's going to be our best bet. We've got Nodwengu, we've got a few areas here, these villages, which could pose a threat to us later on. So I want to go ahead and just set up a frontal line. It's going to take a while to actually properly set it up, but we'll get there. And I think we'll definitely have to take apart these Royal Artillery guns, move them forward, and prepare for the Zulu attack. Now, the Zulu are great in the sense that they'll pose, not that many men initially, and you'll be like, oh yeah, that's not a lot of guys. Over time, though, you start to realize, holy crap, they're actually bringing a much bigger army. I'm almost certain that's what's going to be happening at this fight. And I might be wrong, but we limbered this Royal Artillery last turn, and he can't move, so we may need to keep our Royal Artillery where they are, stationary. We'll have to find out. I'll try to move them next turn, but if not, we'll leave these guys here and just hope that they can provide some pretty good covering fire. Let's also get those Lancers out in front. Bring some more of our men forward. And what I'm going to do here that I didn't do at Islandawana is I'm going to have a secondary line just in case the first one falters or doesn't work. So we can actually move this artillery, so we should be able to move the rest. Let's go ahead and get that Royal Artillery limbered up. And let's get ready for the fight. A and B companies move forward for the Queen. And end the turn. Oh my god, look at that, guys. Holy crap. Okay, suddenly things got a lot more serious. And you can see a tremendous amount of Zulu warriors here defending their homeland. We're going to be in for a hell of a fight. So that's the Royal Kraal. Of course, that's where the King of the Zulus, I'm not sure if King would be a correct term, is probably going to be stationed. And we definitely want to have the first offensive on him. We want to try and attack them first. In the past, of course, we are on the defensive. For instance, at Islandawana, we can't have that happen again, or else it's going to be a massacre. So we've got to continue with the firepower, get those Gatling guns and those cannons up right up on the hills, and hopefully just rain hell down on the Zulu warriors here, because this is looking like a nasty, nasty offensive by the Zulu. Residual shooting phase. I don't think we're close enough. And of course, it is Imperial turn. Very well. Move forward. I think the enemy's probably still too far to fire. We still need to get closer, guys. So let's go ahead and move our men forward. And I'm going to try to form a nice line up here on the hill. We'll bring our irregulars as well. They do have rifles, so they know how to use them. And we've also got some machine guns here, some Gatling guns, the earliest version of machine guns, really. And move them forward here. Start firing at the Zulu warriors that are approaching. But of course, we want to keep a stable line. So I'm probably going to stop at a certain point here. Get these guys to set up and just stay put. And it looks like we can definitely bring the cannons forward. So I want to make room for these cannons. Let's go ahead. Come on, boys. And E and F companies are also ready for the advance. And once again, I'm going to keep some of these guys in reserve. So I'm not bringing everybody forward. I'll definitely bring the cannons forward. But some of these units I'm going to keep all the way back. I definitely want to bring the commissariat forward so they can bear witness to the glory that is going to be this attack. And actually, we might bring these guys off to the flanks. But we're going to leave a few of these guys behind, especially the wagons. They're not going to be able to help us. So some of these guys are going to form the rear lines. And you guys are definitely going to want to see part 2 of this battle, because it's going to get bloodier and bloodier as we go along. Zulu turn. They're going to charge with their mounted scouts. And hopefully we should be able to shoot these guys down. It looks like that infantry is approaching and looking pretty vicious at the same time. We'll get a nice close-up on these guys when it's our turn. We can already get a close-up. They don't look friendly. The Isankyu warriors and the Umkijo warriors. So these are a bunch of different Zulu tribes. I think actually the Zulu nation is one large tribe, but maybe it's a conglomeration of many. If you guys do know, let me know in the comments down below. We always like to get that sort of historical data, information, etc. But it does look like we're facing a federation of tribes. And if you guys will take a look at our Lieutenant Custer fight recently, when we faced a Federation of Tribes in the Americas, things got pretty nasty. Bakers and light horse reports left and right horns closing in from both flanks. So this is the horn tactic that the Zulu would use. They would use their men almost like a bullhorn. In this case, these guys are on our side, the Natal Light Horse, thankfully. So we're going to be bringing them in to assist with the Zulu. But what the Zulu would do is they would close in from two different flanks, one over here, sort of like a bull's horns, entrap the enemy and destroy them. And that's pretty much what they're going for now. So we're going to be moving our guys not too far ahead, just far enough ahead so that they can get right up close to each other. We'll move the artillery there as well. The native contingent will do the same. And we're just trying to form a nice little line here. Nothing too fancy. Just something to blow the hell out of the Zulu warriors, to put it lightly. And we'll also get our Frontier Light Horse. Move back. These guys do have carbines. And I think our Lancers also, even though they shouldn't, they also have carbines. Maybe they should. Well, I'm not sure. Alright, let's see if we can get a first shot with the Boers. The Natal Light Horse, sorry. So they actually have given us a shot. We've got another Baker's Horse. We're going to start moving them back as well. And basically force the Zulu to chase us. Or try and get the Zulu to chase us anyway. You can't really force the Zulu to do anything. Which is probably one of the reasons that these border wars began in the first place. So we'll try to get these guys over here on the sides. We're just going to form a large frontal line, my friends. And try and close the Zulu into their own traps. And also defend our right and left flanks in case the Zulu go for that horn attack. But I do want to get these cannons up there. My plan was to keep some of our men back, but I don't think we can do it. I think with that amount of enemy, we're going to have to get up close and personal and take the fight to them. So we'll get these guys over here. Same with the cannons. And we'll turn it over to the Zulu enemy. A worthy enemy at that. There we go. Our men are already getting some shots off. Now remember, this actual mod that is user-made mod, which is pretty great, has a mod within it which allows our rifles to fire farther. Because during this time period, obviously, the rifles were a lot better than they were at the time of Pike and Shot, of the Italian Wars, Tercio de Salvo, the English Civil War. We actually had carbines, so they could actually fire a bit farther than most other rifles, for the base game could. And that's going to help us a lot. So we're really hoping to use those. But we'll see just how effective they are at this range. I'm definitely going to have to move this line forward, open fire on this frontal line of Zulu, and hopefully get a pretty good conclusion from that, or a pretty good effect from that, let's say. Now, they're coming at us in a large group, but if you guys look at the left and right, they're already closing in with that the ox horn strategy, basically trying to trap us. And it's going to work very, very well. Thankfully, we had our Baker's Horse and our Natal Horse warn us of this occurrence, but now we've got to fight against it, and it's not going to be easy. Here we go. So this is another village, Undini, and a lot of Zulu coming from Undini, so we might have to spread out a bit with our men and start firing all over the place here. Alright, residual shooting phase. Fire. Good shot by the Natal Horseman. Alright, Rangers urgent reports tips of horns moving. Of course, the horns are moving to completely encircle the square. Pretty typical stuff. We do have some Transvaal Rangers, but as you can see, these Transvaal Rangers are very close to the Zulu on the right horn, so we're going to move forward. I don't think we can get close enough to fire on them yet. But we're almost there, guys. We're almost there. We will be prepared for them, hopefully. If not, the battle will be lost, and we're going to lose a lot of men. Move forward with the Royal Artillery. And with the Transvaal Rangers, we'll aim at the enemy. Once again, a little too far away for us to get any hits yet. But I think if we move these men forward, the Dragoon Guards. Can't get a hit yet, but sooner or later. For now, we're running away with our Natal Light Horse. We'll move our men up a little bit, and actually we can get some shots off now. So we're going to start firing with A and B companies on the mounted scouts. Pretty nice shot there. Can't get those guys ahead of us yet, but we are preparing, guys, big time to get some shots. And obviously, when we're off range, or I should say off center, in such a way, you know, when we're not aiming directly at the enemy, the chances of getting a hit are much lower. So we do need to start looking at the enemy and actually aiming towards them if we plan to get any hits. So I'm going to start fluttering out here, sort of like I hate to use this analogy, but sort of like a butterfly, to set up for that attack on the left and that attack on the right. And we also have a strong center. So hopefully this all together is going to lead to a beautiful defense that's going to work out and defeat the Zulu once and for all. Of course, if not, we will lose our commission and probably a lot of our men too. So I think this is a decent setup so far. I'm going to take these guys, move them over here. Take our cannons, keep on moving them up the hill. It's going to take a while, of course. Let's move forward with our drovers and teamsters. These guys are not made for a fight. You know, they're made for essentially taking care of the animals behind the lines. But, nonetheless, we're going to bring them forward here, my friends. So we've got a pretty decent initial line. I think so, anyway. We could probably use a few more men over here, but we need all of those men over here on the right side to watch for the right and left flank of that Zulu ox. And you can see that it's really closing in around our men. Our only chance at victory is going to be to hold it off. So we will end the turn here. To residual shooting phase. Get a few shots off. Nice. And the Zulu are going to close in even more, guys. So now, of course, it's their turn. Nice shooting by our men. You can see that we're still getting some shots, but they're getting right behind the Natal horse. We returned and responded with some fire. Nice. Keep it up, boys. Initial lines are going to take some serious shots, and when they get in range of our Gatling guns, I'm hoping that they're going to do their work, they're going to do their job, and just annihilate the enemy here. Alright, they're getting into a nice central formation here. But I'm really more concerned about the guys on our sides because we're going to be trapped. And once that occurs, who knows what's going to happen. It's all about who breaks first. If we can get enough shots off and down enough Zulu, we can definitely win the battle. But if we can't, we're in serious trouble. You can see they're already moving. They've got those hills to basically protect them. Even if we see them in range, those hills are going to basically stop us from getting any good shots off. And that's definitely something that I'm concerned about. So I want to make sure to get close. Start firing, and you can see over here on our left side we already got some major Zulu warriors coming in. We've got to start firing down at them. They are everywhere, guys. More Zulu over here as well. Got to get our boys up on the hill. We may need to turn a few of our men back, but you can see when we're being surrounded like this, things get pretty messy pretty quickly. Keep firing, boys. Good shooting. Even better shooting. Even at this range, we can start popping off some shots. It's going to be very helpful later on in the battle. Alright, guys, residual shooting phase. Good shots. Keep it up, men. We actually got 12 with the Natal Horsemen, which is really good. And of course, now it's our turn. But you know how this works, guys. If you guys enjoyed this fight, if you enjoyed watching this, make sure to let me know in the comments down below. And we are going to do our absolute best here to get this next part of the battle to you quickly. I think pretty confident that we can do very well in this battle. But at the same time, we're facing a formidable enemy, a formidable opponent. And to beat them, it's going to take a lot of strategy, a lot of courage, and overall, a lot of, well, yeah, a lot of strategy pretty much puts it correct. It doesn't really matter how much courage you have when you're being faced with a Zulu horde. To defeat it, we are going to have to absolutely hold our lines, hold these lines properly, and if we don't, if we fail to do that, we're in for a hell of a problem and a hell of a defeat. So I'm already, as you can see, letting these cannons unlimber a bit. I did want to go ahead and move those guys into a better position, but I think this will suffice. Of course, the enemy has some musketeers of their own. They have been given rifles, or they have purchased them by the British. In fact, the British often use them to buy their loyalty. Apparently this time, it didn't just buy their loyalty, it actually bought their hatred, and they're currently going to use that against us. So we're going to try and keep hitting those musketeer units. They are the first units I'm seeing right now, so I am going to try to stay in range of them, even if it means getting a little closer. I think that's the best thing to do right now. Use Baker's Horse to fire on them as well. And we've disrupted them, so this is a good start. Let's get the 90th foot. Open fire. There we go. If we keep hitting them like this, guys, we can definitely break them. So I'm going to move the Royal Artillery forward, unlimber it. I'm going to move the Commissariat. This is a medic company. But apparently they're much better at firing their rifles than they are at providing any sort of medical treatment. Unless it's to our own men. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. Please make sure to keep watching this series. We want to make sure to make this a big one. So hit that like button, support the series, and make sure to watch the next part, which will be coming up soon. Thank you, guys. Take care. Have a great day.